Today we continue to deliver Kāma Sutta. This Kāma Sutta was expounded directly to a Brahmin farmer living in Savatthi. Buddha can see the future, perceiving the coming mishap to the Brahmin farmer walking in his field near the Chiravali river. Buddha went there and exchanged greeting with him. Why Buddha went there? The reason to go there was that the Brahmin farmer would be friendly with the Buddha and listen respectfully to what the Buddha would explain in the future. And Buddha asked, Brahman, what are you doing? Pondering over the fact that monk Gautama and noble Sakya prince has come to greet him, the Brahmin farmer happily replied with reverence, Venerable Gautama, I am plowing the field to grow wheat. He replied. When Buddha exchanged greeting with the farmers, Sariputta thought, Buddha would not exchange greetings with the Brahmin for no reason. There must be something special, Venerable Sariputta thought. So he also greeted the Brahmin. In the same way, the Venerable Mahamoggallana, as well as the Venerable chief disciple, exchanged greeting with the Brahmin. So the Brahmin thought, the monk Gautama and also his chief disciple care for me and they greet me. So the farmer Brahmin was very happy. When the wheat thrived well, Buddha went to the Brahmin again and asked, Brahmin, is your wheat field growing well? Buddha asked. Yes, Bhante, they are. If they should thrive well, till the end, I would offer part of it to you, Venerable Gautama. The farmer replied to the Buddha. About 4 months later, the wheat plants were thriving well, bearing full and strong grains. The Brahmin was very happy, thinking that he would buy clothing and other things, as he expected to have more wheat than before. There was a continuous and heavy rainfall throughout the night. It was the very night before the Brahmin planned to reap the wheat in a day or two. The Chiravali river in the east of Savatthi overflowed and flooded the fields on its bank. The Brahmin farmer was indeed in great despair when he saw his ruined wheat fields. You may hear the news almost every year, the destruction of million acres in some country situated near the river banks and seashore. It was heard that the same occurrences took place in other countries as well. It was pitiful for the owners of these properties. That is why it mentioned about the destruction and by water and also by fire, which burns up everything, leaving nothing. At one time, a great fire burnt almost the whole town in our country within a couple of hours. A rich man whose factory and house were ruined by the fire was desperate, and he said, "A rich man in the morning, but a poor man indeed with nothing in the evening." Life changes very fast. You are rich today, but tomorrow you will be poor. You are poor today, but tomorrow you will become rich. Loss and gain. Have many friends, sometimes have no friends. Praise and blame, pleasant and unpleasant. It is called Lokadhamma, vicissitude. However, if the rich man has other properties, as he has been a man of wealth originally, he can do other means of earning, apart from property destroyed by fire, to fall back on for his living. But as for the farmers and the poor, who have no other source of income except the fields, could be very much upset. At that time, not only this Brahmin farmer, but also many other farmers along the Chiravali river were ruined. Since this Kāma Sutta is about this particular Brahmin, only his story is mentioned here. When the Brahmin farmer was in great difficulty, Buddha went to his house. Since they had been friendly with each other, the Brahmin prepared a seat for the Buddha and welcomed him happily. And he thinking, now Buddha comes to encourage me, to console me. So Buddha made the opportunity to deliver a sermon, knowingly asking the Brahmin, "Brahmin, are you not happy?" Buddha asked. And the Brahmin replied, "Yes, Venerable Gautama. You know, last night torrential rain. My wheat field has been totally destroyed by the flood. I am very sad. And Buddha explained, Brahman, it is natural for the properties to develop when circumstances are favorable, but they are destroyed when the conditions are unfavorable. That is the reason why one should not be greatly pleased when the properties are accomplished. He should not to be in great sorrow when they are destroyed. In this world, it happens that those one's fortune is lost, it does not mean that he remain poor. A day will come when his luck returns and he will be rich and happy again. Buddha encouraged to the farmers. Then Buddha continued his discourse. Kāma kāmaya manasa tasa citta samijati adha piti manohoti lada mijo yadijati. People, men as well as women, living in the sensual world, sensual beings wish for the desirable objects of sensual pleasures. It is natural. It is natural to be happy and joyous when they have such desirable, animate or inanimate objects. People are delighted, people are happy when their sensual desires are fulfilled. There are various desirable sensual pleasures. For this Brahman, his wheat fields were his only desirable sensual pleasures. The Brahman was joyful to see the thriving wheat plants and the well-developed wheat grain. Similarly, people are happy when they get other objects of sensual pleasures which they wish for. When they get life partners, sons and daughters, they happy. But if these sensual pleasures are destroyed or lost, for ordinary people suffer a great deal as much as they have enjoyed them. For some, there may be more sorrow and more distress. So Buddha continued to expound to the Brahman. Tasache kama yanasa janda jatasa jantuno tikama prihayanti sanga vedawa robati. And Buddha said, like the deer struck by an arrow, one would die in distress when the objects of sensual pleasures, such as inanimate properties and animate persons, are suddenly destroyed or lost. They may be destroyed by flood, fire, heavy snow, disorderly administrator, bandits, superstorm, earthquake, and so on, while one was enjoying them. This Brahmin farmer was extremely unhappy as his wheat field was destroyed by the flood. And Buddha expounded this stanza as a consolation for the Brahmin. Realizing that these mishaps occur according to the law of nature, the farmer would be less distressed and consoled if he compared his loss of his wheat field to that of many lives of people, cattle and such lost in the great floods. So what Buddha mentioned, if one loses the sensual pleasures in the midst of relishing them, his or her mind becomes deranged. Now the Brahmin farmer personally experienced the law of nature, loss and gain, comes and goes, is a nature. The Brahmin farmer was at first extremely happy and satisfied when the wheat field was in good condition. Then he was struck with sorrow and unhappiness when the wheat field was destroyed by the flood. This experience of great happiness followed by extreme sorrow is because he has not reflected the law of nature beforehand. If the Brahmin farmer had reflected the law of nature, the law of comes and go, the law of loss and gain in advance, he would not be overjoyous at the sight of his thriving wheat and be able to forbear the mishaps to some extent. So Buddha continued the Dhamma talk so that the Brahmin would be able to reflect and not to be extremely joyous and delighted by the essential pleasures. If possible, it is to reflect and discard them completely. Yokame privujeti sabbasewa badasiro soma visatikam loke sato samati vidati. Brahman, one who wished not to suffer anything related to the essential pleasures, should avoid and discard them. To avoid them is likened to avoid stepping on the head of poisonous snake, Buddha said. One has to be especially careful not to step on or touch the snake head if he goes to a place covered with grass, small plants, and which is the habitat of poisonous snakes. If one sees the poisonous snake, he should keep away from the snake so as not to touch or not to step on its head. Similarly, wise men should avoid the desirable and attractive sensual pleasures. This is the most appropriate teaching for the monks and yogis who try to escape from the existential suffering. Wishing to be free from this suffering, just like being afraid of a snake bite, wise man is to abstain from mental defilements leading to the desire and craving for the sensual pleasures. Unavoidably, if the monks and yogis have to take food, they have to live in the lodging, to wear the robes and clothing, and to take medicine. They should do so mindfully, or at least reflectively. It is very obvious that they should not try to get gold, money, and such, or to watch entertainments, or to look at the opposite sex with pleasure. One needs to practice one or another way of meditation. We can practice Varanasati, recollection of death, Asubha Bhavana, the foulness of the body in our body, the hairs of the body, nail, teeth, urine, feces, saliva, etc. Many foulness of the body, we can practice that Asubha Bhavana. So there would not arise thoughts for the sensual pleasures. There would not arise the plans for the sensual pleasures. If there arises desire, if there arises attachment, that desire should be rejected by noting desire, 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 or by reflecting. In this way, this teaching is most appropriate for the monks and for the practicing yogi. So we have to reject the sensual pleasures to overcome attachment, like discarding the poisonous snake. To overcome attachment, discard sensual pleasures, like discarding a poisonous snake. Yes, to overcome attachment, reject the sensual pleasures, like discarding a poisonous snake. It is unreasonable. It is not appropriate for the people living a family life to reject the sensual pleasures associated with their livelihood. But since this Dhamma talk was expounded to the Brahmin farmer, he has a family, so it should be considered in a suitable way. If possible, one should renounce the world and become a monk, become a nun. If you cannot renounce, if you cannot become a nun, try to detach yourself as much as possible from the sensual pleasures by listening to the Dharma discourses or by practicing meditation continuously, or to reflect upon the bad effects of the sensual pleasures. So one will be able to withstand the sufferings which ensue from the destruction of the sensual pleasures or the loss of the sensual pleasures. This Dhamma talk was delivered by the Buddha also for those living a family life to practice according to this Dhamma as much as possible, and to discard, to reject the sensual pleasures, like avoiding the frightful poisonous snakes. We will continue this talk tomorrow. We have to end our discourse for today by practicing Satipatthana Vipassana meditation, by noting sitting, standing, walking, lying continuously, meticulously and restlessly. May all good practitioners realize the real peace in the very near future.
Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.